Hello and welcome to the Writing for Academic Publication webinar series hosted by the Graduate Writing Center at Teachers College, Columbia University. My name is Catherine Chang-Stahl and I will be facilitating this webinar. The focus of this webinar is on preparing the final manuscript. I'll be giving you a glimpse into what to expect to get your manuscript ready for digital and/or print publication. When you are ready to have your manuscript published by the production team, you will encounter something called the Author Publishing Agreement, which I'm calling a different kind of APA in reference to the citation style. So what I'm showing you right here is this email that I received when the article was accepted for publication. And this email basically linked to a page where I had to complete my author publishing agreement. It's essentially a copyrights agreement where you are signing all the title rights, I hope that's the right vocabulary, over to the publishers, to the journal, so that they basically own any and all versions of your manuscript, and whether it's in print form or in digital form, all iterations of that article basically will belong to the journal. So what I'm sharing with you, and also this is a step that you have to go through in order to have your article published. So you really have no choice. But what I thought I would do is just actually pull out some of the language of the APA document for the journal where I submitted one of my articles. The agreement itself was 3 pages. There's a lot of fine print, as you can see here. There's a section about rights that you are retaining as the author. And this would be obviously shared by your co-author if you are writing collaboratively. And there's also a section where you are warranting certain things, such as, if it's a research article, that your research was conducted ethically. There's also a section, where you basically ensure that your manuscript was never submitted to any other platform simultaneously. So the section that I wanted to still highlight, though, is the section about author rights, because not all of us maybe read the fine print, and there are actually certain sections that are really relevant and noteworthy. So you own rights to a certain version of your manuscript. You definitely have rights to the original manuscript before peer review. You also have the right to post the post-print form of your manuscript as a digital file on your own personal or departmental website. This post-print form, however, is different from the version that gets published that has all the references linked and all. So that published version is one where you would have to get permission to have it posted on your own personal or departmental website. But the post-print version, which you can request, is one that you can upload in its entirety to your own personal sites. You are able to do a couple other things as long as you provide acknowledgement to prior publication in that target journal. And here journal is capitalized because it depends on the journal that you are submitting to. And these things that you have rights to, I am including that little asterisk. So you have the right to share copies of your article in its published form with colleagues. You are able to make printed copies of the entire or even parts of the article, as long as it's for non-commercial reasons and specifically for educational purposes. So if you are an instructor or someone would like to use your work as part of their lecture for a classroom setting, you are able to make printed copies as well as distribute digital copies. You're able to include the article in a thesis or dissertation, provided that your thesis or your dissertation won't be published commercially. So this was something I didn't know and might be relevant for some of you. So you're able to even include sections of this article. You would obviously cite it the way that you would, but you're able to reuse the article, provided that you acknowledge its publication in this journal. Also provided that your thesis and dissertation doesn't end up becoming a book that you publish and benefit from financially. You're able to present the article at a meeting or a conference, and you're also able to expand your article into a book length form for publication. So sometimes articles get reprinted as part of an edited volume. You might also have the article published in a different format of sorts. But when these types of reuse purposes occur, there may be a fee associated with it. So you definitely want to check with the journal. There are other fine print points, but I thought these are some of the more relevant ones that I wanted to point out. This is what the production site looks like at Taylor and Francis. This is the central article tracking system. I imagine that for other publishers, something similar also exists. So this was basically the site that I had access to as I was undergoing the APA process, but also the proofing process. So one of the tabs included additional actions for me to take to ensure that production goes smoothly. So one of the last parts of the production process involves proofreading the manuscript. So at some point, the production manager is going to reach out and either send you a PDF or perhaps send you to a website that contains a proof of the manuscript prior to production. And it's been formatted with the correct font. It has all the images in its right place. Everything has been templated to fit the journal's aesthetic. And during this proofing process, sometimes there are a few items that the editors will flag for you, or the editor's assistants, with some comments. And it's up to you to kind of go through them and complete the action steps. Sometimes it's just fixing a couple of citational mistakes, changing the formatting style. Sometimes a year is miswritten. Sometimes you are correct and they made a mistake, but they just want you to double check. So these are usually minor proofs. There might be also some checks of spelling that they want you to correct. So again, this is kind of the final step in which you are polishing your manuscript. And this is the point where you have complete control over how things look. So sometimes the team doesn't catch certain errors that you might catch during your own proofreading. So I think it's worthwhile to do this step carefully to ensure that the published version is the way you want it. And that's it for this webinar. I hope this was helpful in terms of giving you a glimpse behind the scenes into the production process.